For generations, the path to building wealth went straight through home ownership, but millions of young Americans are skipping the door, the white picket fence, the new fancy kitchen, and are pouring their future into the bull market instead. Retail trading has doubled since 2010. 1 in 3 25-year-olds now has an investment account. That is 6 times more than a decade ago. Charles Schwab says the 2020 meme stock craze sparked a generational shift, but warns this group has never had to grind through a drawn-out bear market. They're the stocks only go up generation. Taylor, I don't know about that. This is,
I agree with you.
Is it speculation and gambling, or is it just socking money away and straight up investing?
I think the second, and I think to sell that generation short and to say it's the stocks only go up generation isn't giving them the credit that they deserve. I think that just the way we were all bond traders on the floor in the first rate hike after, ZIRP and NERP, everyone thought, oh my gosh, this is the first generation of bond traders who've never witnessed a rate hike. We got through it. We all will, right? So I think that sells them a little bit short. And I like this idea, but Jackie and I have gone back and forth on this, so I want you to weigh in. I like that we are more invested in the stock market. We just talked about the benefits of compound interest. We've talked about building generational wealth, being able to give my daughter, here was an Apple equity stock bond or whatever that I bought for you. Here it is 18 years later, whatever that may be. My concern is if we are building a generation of renters instead of owners. And if I want an owner economy, I am much more invested in my community, in my property taxes, in where my money is going. There is dignity in ownership. So if I'm now building up a generation of renters, will they really clean that fridge as much as they would if they were an owner? What does that mean? What does that mean for the community? Do they respect the building and take care of it as they otherwise would if they owned it? Do they care about if property taxes go up as much if they were a real owner? Those are some of my worries.
I don't see this as an either or. Is that homes got expensive, so you sock money away in the stock market.
Well, and I love all the points you made because I think diversification is so incredibly important. But I think this younger generation, to your point, we should give them credit. Because I remember when I was younger, I didn't have the tools necessary to be able to invest in the market. It was scary to me. And I remember, and I'm going to age myself here, but like watching Maria, right, on Fox Business. And I remember looking up to her, and she was my only resource to learning about the market then, which is why I then studied international finance and marketing. But it wasn't something that I learned in high school. And now at a very young age, my son's 8, I'm teaching him about interest. So you have a little piggy bank, let's put this money. And it's interesting because he's like, well, how much interest am I going to earn? And I'm like, well, this is how much you're going to have at the end of the year. He's like, that's nothing. So it's, there's also a reality check when they don't have enough money.
He wants those crypto returns. Come
he's
on,
like, well,
interest, that's boring.
Again. But I think to your point, too, is home ownership. There's so much pride in your community. But property taxes and insurance, something has to be done about those. And on that point, I had a conversation with the CFO of Florida, Blaze, and Florida, I think, is going to be the leader in this right now because they're looking to eliminate property taxes, which is going to be on the ballot November 2026 for homestead. And then after that, my question was, well, what's going to happen to those of us that have a home that we couldn't sell because the market plummeted and now our property taxes have skyrocketed because we lost our homestead? Like I have one property taxes went from $18,000 to $40,000 a year. Ooh. So the and my insurance went from 18 to 25. So I have no choice but to increase the rent on the tenant, which I haven't done yet because I'm a good person. But ultimately I'm going to have to, right, or sell that property. And he says, yes, that's something that we're looking into for the next year because we don't want to confuse people on the ballot. So I think if property taxes and insurance reform happens, then the younger generation is going to have more opportunity to enter the market. I think one of the reasons that they're actually investing in stocks is because there's less barriers to entry.
Because what happened was the generation before them thought that the only thing that could happen if you invested in a home was that you would see your net worth go up. And so that generation got sucked into that. We already saw one housing bubble, however, which I'm concerned about because it was bought up lapped up, after that even more, bringing the prices as high as they are now. So you've got this generation saying, okay, I can't do it in the home market anymore the way the previous generation did. I'm going to do it in the stock market. And again, I think this leads to bubbles that can be particularly problematic. We were talking earlier about universal basic income with respect to the Dell investment and these savings accounts for children, that's basically what it boils down to. So I have to ask myself, what is happening here? What's happening here is you've got an administration that realizes, because of some of these socialists that are coming into power, that they need to do something about this affordability. They need to give more to keep people in a lower financial positions and socioeconomic status happy. Because what ends up happening when those people don't feel like they have enough or affordability is crushing them, ultimately, they will want to overthrow the system completely and throw the baby out with the bathwater. So you asked me what was happening with Dell and what Trump is doing here. That's what I think they're trying to do. We certainly know, Republicans aren't for universal basic income. They're not for more entitlements. But you ask yourself why it's happening. I think that is why it's happening. I also think it's dangerous for these asset bubbles that are building.
Yeah, I think what you're saying is people have to have a stake in something that they can defend, right? Because if they don't have a stake in something they can defend, then they become dependent on somebody else. I don't really, if it's stocks, if you're investing, that's great. If it's a house, that's great too. But I do kind of err on the side of houses just a little bit. Because I feel like you learn independence in life when you have your own place in the world. You care more about governance when you've got a place in a community. You care more about taxes. You care more about safety. You care more about all these things because you have a little space in the world that you're trying to improve. And I get nervous about telling people they have an affordability crisis so that they say, I'm going to give up on owning a home. I can't afford anything, and so I give up. I actually see a little insidious bit of that creeping into the affordability crisis from the left. Like, you can't afford anything, so don't even try.
But you don't want to encourage. I am psyched that people made the decision to put money in an investment account rather than make a commitment to a $500,000 overpriced box with $400,000 of borrowed money that you're paying 7% interest on because you don't have a path out of that. You're stuck. You're stuck. If that price falls, you're stuck for 10 years. There's no path out of that. It's not like that with stocks.
If you're doing stocks, I'm with you historically.
No,
but
I'm saying if you just borrowed money from mommy and daddy for a down payment and borrowed $400,000 to buy an overpriced box somewhere, you're stuck there for a decade.
I think you need to budget accordingly. I remember when I was in college, home ownership was part of the American dream for me, and that's how most people have accumulated generational wealth.
But if you need to move, you ain't moving if you're underwater.
No, that's why you need to rent, which is then the taxes go up, and then you're in the scenario that I explained earlier. So something has to be done about property taxes and insurance if home ownership is going to continue to be part of the American dream, and utility bills, as we discussed.
Yep.